Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a special read for you today again. There's definitely some heavy stuff coming up in here because of the full moon, and I'm going to tell you ahead of time that all of the kings and queens, except for the Queen of Swords, were reversed, and the Empress was upright, but everyone else, the Emperor, all of them were present. All the kings and queens and the Emperor and Empress were right next to each other, but they all come up as reversed except for the Empress and the Queen of Swords. That doesn't mean it's just air signs, because they can represent different people in different situations. So I want to get right into it. Also, I want you to bear with me because some of my own stuff comes up during the read, like it was a tangent that I was guided to go on. So you could just bear with me if I bring up some of my own stuff. There's a message in it that's part of the read, okay? Okay, so it is February 19, 2019. I don't even know what time the full moon is or was, if it's tonight or last night, but it is the energy of the sun, the 19, and the day adds up to 33, which is the Christ vibration, or the Seven of Wands, which is standing your ground, standing up for yourself, but without being defensive, okay, right? So when all that energy is coming at you, whether it's the Earth's energy or people's energies, it's about standing your ground and not reacting to those energies. And that may be a little difficult in these energies. And I have to tell you too, I definitely had a purge last night. I was crying my eyes out. It didn't last really long, but it was a really deep purge. So I just want you guys to know that energy is definitely here, and it's so that you can release some stuff, and some old stuff might come up because those are the deepest layers that are coming up now. To get, let the, it's the last bit of the squeeze of the lemon when you squeeze it out. You have to get that last little bit out. All right, so we have the 33-6 and the 19 of the sun. And let's see, the read, this is for the union read, for it includes the unit as one unit, one read, okay, for the masculine and the feminine together. The major arcana, and this was done at 9:30. The main Syrian starseed deck was cut at 9:14. And that came up as significant as well today. And then I was finished or completed at 9:30, and I was still arranging my cards till 9:32 this morning. The major arcana for this read, the only one was solar deity, which is the sun. The card after the read that I was pulled is the Hermit, so that also came up. There were 2 wands, 2 pentacles, 3 cups, and 3 swords. So very well distributed, other than there could be less swords, but that may be good for a reason today because the Queen of Swords is upright today. I want to tell you also that the Fool is upright. So everyone who is in their inner Fool, in their Forrest Gump today, and speaking their truth, are in their upright. But a lot of people are knocked over because of the purging in the full moon. Just so you don't take it personally. The court cards were the only court cards that came up in the main deck for the read, because most of the cards came up in the clarifiers. But the main read was just the King and Queen of Cups and the Knight of Swords. But again, they were both reversed as well. So don't jump to wanting that to be you and your twin, because it may not be, okay? But which is okay. There was definitely a good message in the read. The numbers that came up in the message and the coding were all about moderation, communication, 3D communication, and health. The numbers were 35, which is the Wounded Warrior, 77, which is the 9 of Pentacles, 112, 4, 55, 23, 57, 1, 57 is the 3 of Swords, 23 is the King of Wands, 55 is the Ace of Swords. The sequence 5, 6, 7, 8 came up, 9 came up separately, and 14 is the Temperance card, 9 is the Hermit. All of these energies are represented in the read. The time, like I said, 9:14 came up, but also the reflection of that 4:19. And that could be significant for someone April 19th, because I don't usually invert the times, but it came up today for me to do. Also 22:33. And again, where 1, 2, 3 has been coming up, I got 1, 2, ... 3, jump. And then I got 4, land. You like that? So the 3 was about the jump, and then the 4 of the 4 of Wands of the Union is when you land and you get settled, okay? So there's definitely that energy coming up here. And there's this huge message that came up right at the beginning of the read. I swear it took me an hour just to get through the first pile of underlying energies because a lot was coming up. And this is why I don't do all the card stuff for you online, because I'd be on here for hours. Ooh. So the coding about moderation, communication, and health was all about, well, first of all, the Seven of Chalices came up, which for me, the Seven of Chalices is, you know, people say it's your options, it can be confusion or illusions, but in our world, it's not the illusions, it's the stuff that's real, the dreams, right? So it's also about your synchronicities, seeing them everywhere, and it's also about heaven in your eyes, you know, knowing that it's true, having faith. So, and Spirit's connecting with me. So that came up in the coding, but as well, specifically, this is literally the message in the code. The wounded warrior, Mary Magdalene, you notice WW is MM. The wounded warrior, Mary Magdalene, AD, or after death, she died too. To become 77, which is the Nine of Pentacles, the sovereign of heart, mastering the 8, the 0-point energy, half here and half etherically with him, just like you. This is Mary Magdalene coming through, telling you, I went through the same thing that you're going through, and Spirit's connecting with me. All right, so, and a whole bunch of stuff with the numbers came up. So when I was getting Wounded Warrior, and I'm going to say that again, Wounded Warrior Mary Magdalene, after death, AD, that she died too, to become 77, or a sovereign of heart, mastering the 8 energy of 0-point, half here and half in the etheric realm with him after he passed. Or, you know, there's stories about him possibly not having passed either. So anyway, 2 wounded, so 35 comes up and 77, and for some reason I was getting 35 and 35 is 70, and there's 7 left over. So there's 2 wounded warriors, which is 70, the 2 of Pentacles, right, juggling each other's energies, doing the dance, plus 7, which is the chariot of ascension. Okay, you guys doing the dance, 2 sovereigns, wounded warriors doing the dance in the ascension process, that there needs to be a vehicle to get there, a mode of transportation, in order to become 2 chariots side by side, which is then integrated within you. Then the 2 sovereigns become side by side, 77 and 77. And then I was getting, well, why is it 1111 then? And then I was getting, because of Shokare. So those of you who aren't familiar with Reiki, Shokare is a symbol of power. And if you incorporate the Shokare into the each 11 in 1111, you get the 7777, but there's a curly Q on the bottom, and I'm like, well, what is that supposed to mean? So what I was being guided to is the fact that whenever you see the little curly Qs on symbols, that's considered the connect. Okay? So just like when they changed the kind of printing we use in elementary school from block print to the script print, you know, to help you get ready for writing in script, it's the same thing. There needs to be a connection. Just like the third energy is that connection, right? It's the connections between the train cars. But there needs to be a connection, the space between the words, right? Or the Shokare circles, you know, when you draw them from the bottom of the 7, like this, it becomes literally a shell. And then the top of the 7, I'm not sure if anyone knows what that symbol is. It starts with, you know, the top of the 7. If it's just the top of the 7 with a little curly Q at the beginning, what does that mean if anyone has a specific meaning for that? Because I see it a lot with different symbols, so it might have its own meaning. But it's also was bringing up pi, because I always talk about the integration within is pi. But you have 2 lines in pi, but there's always the front line always has that little continued, right, curl on the bottom, because that's the connection. You're integrated within, but it's like the ionization. It has to connect to something else, and it can't without that connecting part. The quantum leap, right? So it was taking me on all these tangents. I digress. But it was really bringing up the need for that connection. A home, the shell, so it's showing me the two parts. In addition to 1111 are the home of the shell and the connection. Okay? So some really cool stuff always comes through with the numbers, and I'm always surprised by it because I never know when it's going to come. Alright, so we get into the read, and as soon as I start the read, number 13 comes up in the cards there. Excuse me. The Five of Wands is the underlying energy of the first card, with the Three of Cups beneath it. It's just coming out a little bit. So the Five of Wands fire to transmute negative past of the twins, offering it up to the quest for fame and fortune. One of Three Cups is coming out to show their heart. Past returns for an opportunity to fight and get it over with, right? Sometimes the Tower comes in to get everything transmuted in one big The Ace of Cups overflows with love exposed. The Emperor grieving from synchronicities. The option he didn't choose. Now schooled by Jesus and Mary for misbehaving. That acting like a child nearly killed someone in a race to the finish line to get praise from another you don't even like. This was coming up for the masculine. And that was at 10:01. Okay, so here we go. Let me just put it down. I end up sinking down on my pillows over time, so. All right, new love. New love energies, or new love energizes the Emperor, but then feels regret for the one he left hanging, who was actually better than the other options, but didn't feed the masculine's ego as much. The Sphinx is here, R-A, Ra, with R-X, which is a cure for your X, the letter X, for your X. And then I was getting a code VX7, so if that means something to someone, comment below, please. Comment below anyway. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you all for all of your prior likes, subscribes, and shares and comments. And for those of you who have reached out for sessions with me, thank you so much. If anyone knows that code VX7, let me know. And then I was getting, so R from Ra came up, R-A. And R I was getting, because it has the connection on the bottom of it, I was getting equals A with the connection. Akashic Records. And then I was getting the goose and the gander was coming up when I was going into Akashic Records here. And then I looked up goose, and the first thing that came up was Goose's Roost, Niagara Falls. So that was coming up, and some other stuff which will come up in a second. But Pi and I came up, as well as Excalibur. While the goose is doing work, the gander is goofing off, mouthing off, showing off, feathers all in a tussle, needing to grow up. You are only allowed to play if you play authentic self. Inspired, not immature action that hurts others for ego reasons. To be an angel is to love and support one another in your endeavors and not take them down to make yourself feel better, which is only temporary, like a quick fix, a peacock feather. And I wanted to expand on this really quick because I forgot to tell you, when I went in for my inner child and my twin's inner child today, the feminine was on her side as a grown-up, sitting on her bed reading. The masculine was under his bed as a child, on his side, scared to come out. But when he wouldn't come out, Spirit forced him to come out by etherically floating him, took his whole body out from under the bed, floating him over to the mat, to the feminine side, to where the bed was, put him on the bed, and as soon as he sat in front of her, now remember he's a little boy, he's not a grown-up and she's a grown-up, he plants one right on her because he's scared, so he does it really fast, and she, as a grown-up and has a child coming to kiss her, pushes him away and he falls off the bed. So the message here was about the masculine needing to mature, not to lose his inner child, But here, this is going to come up here in a minute, so I'm going to follow on for a second. So as we left off, like a quick fix, a peacock feather. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone out there finds a peacock feather today. Your true self is so much better, telling the masculine. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? The saying is true, but only if you choose the golden goose, the Holy Grail, the one that is you. The only one to humble yourself to is your higher self, God, Source, Prime Creator, the Wise One, the Nine, the collective consciousness, the One. Stop bowing down to the man, Divine Masculine, which is the establishment, the things, the old, the way things used to be, the way they taught us, which wasn't right, which was incorrect, and you don't even agree with it in the first place. Time is up, last chance. Door 1, 2, or 3. Pick anything but number 2 and you're dead. This is coming from you. The Sphinx is schooling the masculine here, okay? Because he's being a child. He was coming up as a child when I looked this morning. So it's so cool that that came up in the cards as well. But anyway, so he's telling the masculine, because he's like the bad kid in school getting in trouble, saying this is your last chance, time is up. Door 1, 2, or 3, pick anything but door number 2 and you're dead. Right? Because 2 is the one with the one that's unknown. But it's the good one. The other ones are seen. One's a snake, one has a mask on. So the lion and the bull are doing their homework, looking at each other, not sure what they did or where they went wrong. And then I was getting another symbol. Where they lost the connection, hugging the track around the curve. Allowing to naturally unfold like a flower. A dancer's arm rolls. Oh, and I saw that when I was meditating, waking up this morning. I saw an arm basically go like this. Just the arm. Like that. So if it means something to you guys, comment below. But what it came up for here was where they lost the connection. They were confused, right, in this read. Hugging the track around the curve. Allowing all to naturally unfold like a flower. A dancer's arm rolls out. Or even a pirouette. Fluidity, which came up yesterday, didn't it? Or the day before. Go with nature's flow. What does your body tell you? Not what the church or family taught you not to do. BYOU. Take a gamble is not rolling the dice. It's having faith, surrendering to your own inner guidance you've been ignoring, or too stressed to hear, or feel, or see. The hermit sheds light, unaware you're inspired by it. You have not waved, said hello, nor given affection, or even shown lovers jealousy. If all you want now is sex, you will come off as insincere, duplicitous, having not expressed any real feelings in years, chained to a duplicitous lover you don't even want to be with, due to a piece of paper made up by establishment that you don't agree with. Alright, so this is stuff coming out from the cards and from Spirit bringing in messages as well. So some of these messages now coming up are going to be specific to me, my situation that I needed to say as incorporated in what the message was saying. So just bear with me. Past life relationship was coming up as the underlying energy, and below that was let your friends help you. Justice is served, putting out there to touch. Left butt at full moon, and this is in the cards, not me saying it, although it's what I say all the time. All right, justice served, putting it out there to touch. Left butt at the full moon, raising a drink, and then seeing the reflection in the mirror. You are who you hang out with, for the masculine. But that goes for both. Freeing self as the King of Wands, who is naturally affectionate. Been walking a fine line, that tightrope, like JFK, I said yesterday. Acting like your poop don't stink, with fold-down boots and snake walking right next to you. The other side is a cliff. You left your flame out on the ledge, just like the aide left my dad on the ledge, on the edge of the bed, with a diaper open, but instead of running right back to save his life, decided to stop to have a conversation. And that literally happened. I came in to visit my dad one day. He was literally on the edge of the bed because she'd been changing his diaper, and she didn't have something she needed, so she ran out of the room to get someone to help her. And I was there for at least 5-10 minutes, and she didn't come back. And my father, who can't move on his own and falls off the bed, has fallen off the bed before, actually happened. And she just left him that way with his diaper open. So when I told you about my dad, me talking to my twin, instead of seeing that someone had left him unsafe, you heard me telling you that my dad just wanted his dignity. You didn't hear a word I said. When we talked about skiing, how much you loved the rush, and I said I haven't skied in a while, and you said, why not? You should. Thinking I was afraid of risk-taking, I told you I've jumped from a plane, that I understand your pain. You weren't even listening, only to the sound of your own voice, telling me you don't believe in love, that was long gone. You don't believe in fairy tales. So then what would that make me? A fool in your eyes, the one who walks on the edge. Do you see the parallel now? God forbid the King of Wands, man of passion, be seen with the fool. Forrest Gump, what would they say? While the lobster found his pearl, in the ugliest shells comes the most beautiful gifts. Things take time to grow, and Spirit's connecting with me, but even a beautiful pearl can grow in a year or two. I have checked the oven to make sure the chicken isn't burnt, but you haven't checked once, assuming your meal will be there when you feel like coming for it. Maybe that's because when I was 10 or 11, I was told to watch the steak in the oven, and I forgot, and it got burnt. They made fun of me all through dinner, and I ran away 5 miles in the dark. What did you do then when you were 4 or 5 at that same time? You already know that story. You inspired me to write it, calling me melancholy when I'd been crying all night over you the night before in a purge. At the very beginning. You couldn't have even imagined. You were married and I was just some insignificant older woman. That the one and only time I ever saw your wife in the parking lot, on my way in, she pulled her child close to her and looked at me as if I were a witch and she was protecting her child from something evil. Maybe there was something about Salem witch trials there between us, because we're all in the same soul group after all. I didn't say anything at the time, because what would you care? She was your wife and I was just this nobody who feels you every day. Then I was egged 3 times within a couple of weeks from Christmas to New Year's, 1 a.m., 12 a.m., 2 a.m., very calculated. My daughter told you you couldn't even imagine that your family had anything to do with it, even though I saw a white tail end of a car the first time it happened. All it did was make my daughter feel scared at night that someone would break in. I had stopped visits prior to that anyway, but when I returned a few months later for a few more visits, surprise again, another egging. The stain still embedded on my front white facing, even though I spent time scrubbing it off. You didn't care that I got egged. It wasn't your problem. That last time I saw you, I told you about the repeat egging. Again, it was no biggie in your eyes, even if my daughter felt unsafe, and even though I told you again that I feel your energy every day, and you asked me what did it feel like. I couldn't tell you in 5 minutes, so I emailed you about a week later to gently and technically explain what I felt like, or what it felt like. You never responded like so many times before, so I started to respect myself, even though I didn't know how I'd detach while feeling your love and other feelings every day, stress, anger, sex, etc. That is why we talk to other twins, because they are the only ones who can truly understand what we are experiencing. I don't cry much anymore, but I still feel you every day. I don't understand how you can think of me, even through dreams, and not want to do something about it. So we make up stories in our minds of the worst and best case scenarios, which is why the journey is so painful. What could be such a great secret that would prevent you from a kind word to someone you're attached to, who you knew for years and had over 50 conversations with? Some of the greatest loves were after just a few dates. The lobster going for the pearl in the shell is like the game Operation. Only here the shell may clam up and the lobster could lose a claw in the process. And without his tools, how would he then work? Remember, the pearls form only out of rejection. The body protecting itself in survival produces something extra, unnecessary, but how beautiful it becomes over time. Love comes up here as the underlying energy, and spirit still connecting with me. And nature was below that. Love is number 6 and nature is 74, which is the, let's see, 74 is the 6 of Pentacles. So I digress, say no less. Then comes up the Prince and the Pauper, Friar Tuck and Maid Marian. Like the Apothecary in Romeo and Juliet, may have crossed paths in the night before they actually met, or maybe it was Cinderella's evil stepsister who met with the Apothecary to make her sick and get her out of the way. There are always many players in a play to make it more fun to watch, but not so much to live it. The Leo, all fired up, unhinged, goes to the priest, telling the story of this crazy manipulative woman she knows nothing about. But she knows the priest will see her as against their belief, even devilish, while she admires the gold lace curtains in the church, or his trappings of red, gold, and white silk, and a little purple, as he performs with his stick for her, a magic trick perhaps, in front of the stained glass window. Cha-ching! She is blinded by the light. Right, so this is coming up this way. This is not me. All right, so cha-ching I'm getting, and then she's blinded by the light, wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night. She says, what you don't know can't hurt you, pretending not to know, while plotting some story in her mind, how to decide which material to choose. They're all beautiful. I want them all. Okay, so this was coming up as the karmic saying, you know, what the masculine doesn't know won't hurt him, and doing some underhanded things, whether spending money and not telling him about it, or there's other stuff coming up here. There's a duplicitous priest, or it can be another religious leader, but I'm getting priest from the energy. There's a duplicitous priest coming up here who expects people to bow down and kiss his feet, and not in a good way. Definitely seeing an abuser here, and a woman spending money that's not hers, or that she can't afford but doesn't care, or someone gambled away their life savings on a man of God, or a deal that fell through, and someone gets schooled who has a history of abuse or overspending. Ignorance is bliss coming up here. The pot is stirred. Commitments and establishment and contracts or relationships, or contracts of relationships, past, now ending. And I was just getting past due. So, before I forget this too, right when I was talking about the spending and the priest, I was just getting for somebody, the karmic is donating all this money to the church, but it's really going to the priest, who may be her lover, so that this is money for them to stow away, so when she leaves, she can take off with the money, and the priest, or maybe somebody affiliated at the church. Okay, I'm definitely getting that as someone's situation. Because there's a lot of situations where people are stashing money away, but there's a specific situation to at least one person where the karmic is planning on running off with someone from the church, if it's not the priest themselves, or a minister, whatever it is, but she's donating money to the church, so that money becomes theirs, okay? Ignorance is bliss coming up here. The pot stirred. Commitments and establishment and contracts of relationships past, now ending. The man of passion says goodbye to the old life and hello to love. In his knowing about expansion, transformation, and his third energy, ready to roll as the wheel turns, someone's learned their lessons, and they won't do it again. Ignorance is not bliss. Some kind of scam going on here too, like I said. And the signs that came up just for the underlying energy were Leo upright, Taurus upright, Aries reversed, Libra probably neutral, I'm not sure if it was upright or not. Pisces came up upright and reversed. There actually could be two different Pisces, or one that's both energies. Gemini upright, Virgo upright, Capricorn upright, and Cancer reversed. Those were just the underlying energies. Recently, the Divine Feminine's heart maybe had been visiting mother or planning a visit with a child to come together. Both sovereigns and open to have fun. A little playtime to celebrate with some friends. The foundation for the union is of abandonment wounds coming up here. That's probably why a lot of the purges are coming up, because that's like our greatest wound. Our first wound was the abandonment from our twin. Left dead in the cold, choosing a path of wisdom, seeing multiple perspectives and higher self to decide what is truth and what is not, and like not depending on someone else's decision or opinion. Centrally for the union, the sun exposes it all. Detached King of Cups, not expressing, holding it in, but with success and attention on journey, recovering from family cycle ending to make everyone happy, not just himself. But he's reversed here, so you see, it may not be such a good thing to be doing that, because if you're reversed, you're not in your truth. The Emperor and the Empress, with their royal silks, red and white, her red boots, his red cape, living the life that is a pretty picture, but if you look closer, she is stern and all about herself, and he's looking past her at that beautiful life is actually another woman he's looking at, who's dreaming of him. As the Empress says to him, get out of here and go to work already. Okay? So the challenge is for the union, the steps to take. Releasing loss and regret at the full moon now, and expansion to end family cycle for the divine masculine angel, can be feminine as well, moving or ending patterns of running away and self-sabotage. Now crowning the union is the Queen of Cups, grounding and integrating, some minor changes with work perhaps. Two options maybe, of bubbly or fiery, or holding back tongue, jumping the gun into a family life without knowing what's coming, or tripped up because too much in a hurry to be complete. Okay? So don't rush things. Allow things to happen naturally, because you're just going to trip yourself up or become hurt and be negative, and then you're not in your truth anymore. The Queen of Cups announcements may be heard by the Queen of Wands reversed, telling the wounded warrior. Now, the Queen of Wands reversed, then telling the wounded warrior, or her being the wounded warrior, in hopes he will hate her or get her good. The Queen of Cups reversed and King of Wands reversed, both obsessed with each other, divine masculine and karmic at a distance, because flame is between them. Because flame is between them while the karmic is trying on a new outfit. The divine masculine at work is being present, thinking of a date potentially, a conversation, being Scrooge with his energy and money and time, feeling guilty for playing Superman with others. Soon the King of Cups is free. In his sleep and meditation, the 5D, has a sudden event or epiphany. News or message of the High Priestess or secret lovers he feels guilty about, hiding his truth as to prevent a fight. So again, this King of, all of these characters don't have to be the masculine. They could have to do with their karmic situation too. So just apply it where it goes, and if it doesn't apply to you, it's not for you. The union is seen today as the Knight of Swords. That's the messenger of truth, the knight in shining armor, but also can be harsh, because it's militant. Speaking up to find the courage to carry the weight of the world just a little bit farther in the 3D and the 5D messages. So that's definitely coming from the masculine, right? Could be feminines too, are still holding on to their karmic relationships, are still living together. The signs that came up for the read, I believe all 12 signs came up here. What did I write twice? Leo was reversed. Cancer was both ways. So if I say both ways, it's either two people or one person expressing both energies. Sagittarius was upright, Aries upright, Taurus reversed, Scorpio both ways. Pisces was upright, Aquarius was upright, Capricorn reversed in the body of the read, Gemini upright in the body of the read, Libra upright, Virgo upright, and Aquarius reversed. So Aquarius was both. There's two, one up and down, and I ended up writing them separately. So it seems to be that there was definitely two different Aquariuses. One who's positive energy, one's in their negative energy. Okay. So, as I was saying, it's like the masculine's coming through saying, I'm still carrying those 10 wands. I just have a little bit more to go. For divorce and or separation and or spiritual heartbreak and dealing with all these issues, the separation and separation from self. Because remember, when you're upside down or you're sad, it's because you're not in love, you're not connected. So that means you're not in your truth. Attraction comes up here for the union, as well as true love. This is a romance of a lifetime. So how many days in a row can this card come up? Pay attention to the red flags, which is your signs and synchronicities, your guidance. Around the union, or how it is seen, is finding peace and love between the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Wands, instead of talking and going other places, to stop for a hug, to love. And it could be your masculine and your feminine, but it also can be a friend or an ex who you haven't talked to, but it's just making peace with someone, okay? Clearing blocks of expressing feelings, arrogance, this is for both masculine and feminine, what you need to clear. Fear of expressing your feelings, clear blocks around arrogance, purges. Instead of calling it arrogance or purges, call it satisfaction or a good cry. Finding justice in all of it, except fighting for it. Okay? Instead of having justice on your mind. Okay? Moderation comes up here, and communication, like I said in the beginning, and health. But even more so today is spiritual partnership, your connection. The Queen of Cups gives affection to find peace. And knowing the Lovers -1, because the Lovers in the Tarot of Sexual Magic is 2 lovers, and this card -1 are coming together to complete world and end pain, bleeding out to get point across. Destiny of losing hope without their lover and co-creating together. The Hermit is coming up as possibly the wounded warrior, guarded about the King of Pentacles family, or his family is on guard to the Hermit with the light. Or see the Hermit as a mess, whether it's the masculine or the feminine, because they both can come up as the Hermit, which is just someone who's isolated, a professional, a Virgo, or a Hermit. So the family could see them as a third party, or vice versa, you know, that she or he is a mess for him, and so it's vice versa for him and her family. So it can be between the masculine, his divine feminine, and his family, or vice versa and her family, okay? But it's coming up more as the King of Pentacles, so it's probably more about his family. There's a new offer, could be a karmic though too, okay? So there's a new offer to hang out together. The Queen of Pentacles reversed, holding on to money, but a little drained, so she might have lost some money because of the third party situation, and definitely has happened for a lot of the divine feminines, because they've been living on their savings or whatever they had to get through this, right? Because when they went through a lot and they couldn't function a lot of the time. So the Queen of Pentacles can often represent the divine feminine, okay, who may have lost some money, or just celebrating too much after coming together. The King of Swords reversed may be without a car, or just stuck working or giving to others. Okay, it looked like the King of Swords was coming up next to a block, but walking away, rejected, not seeing eye to eye, or a brother calling him a crybaby. The King of Pentacles reversed, moving to calmer waters and more peace. All right, so I was definitely getting it. This was just the clarifying cards that came up after the read. That's when the King and Queen of Pentacles came up, because they really didn't come up. The King of Pentacles came up during the read, but the Queen of Pentacles really not. He came up, he was significant in the King of Wands. The main read was just the King and Queen of Cups, but the other clarifying cards was a lot of the King of Wands, the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups and the King of Wands were coming up together but reversed, because they need to work some stuff out. But the Queen of Wands is reversed over here, so she's pissed. So that's a marriage that's broken up, and they're with their twin. But the twins are still reversed because they have stuff to work out, which is okay, because this is the full moon. They're probably purging out. But it also could be just working things out with your karmics and that kind of thing. So I don't see any of the reverses really today as being negative, except for people working things out and purging because of the full moon energies. But the end of the card, those clarifiers with the King and Queen of Pentacles, was coming up with the King of Swords reversed. And it looks like in someone's situation, there's a brother or partner. There's a lot of, and I brought this up all the time, there's a lot of competition between them. And it's like the one brother was calling the divine masculine a crybaby or something like that, or vice versa, whatever it is. But someone was just saying that they're over and just walking away from the situation of a partnership. So there's definitely marriages, partnerships, all that stuff ending on the karmic ends for a lot of these unions to come together. And those are that's what's playing out right now. So all all four couples of the kings and queens were out here. And the emperor and the empress were sitting right next to each other. It can represent, when they're sitting next to each other, it's either a karmic couple together, and it can be parents of someone too. It doesn't have to be them. But it's coming up as a wealthy couple sitting right next to each other, but they're not even looking at each other. They could care less about each other. So it definitely could be someone's parents. But it also can be a karmic with the masculine, or vice versa, who aren't paying attention to each other and may not even be living together, but they're still coming up in the card read shown as together because they're still attached. But they're not paying attention to each other. But it was really to make an impression of that, to bring up that part in the read that came up. So I'm going to pull up some oracle cards now. Oh, I'm not even finished yet, sorry. Did I finish? Where am I? Alright, so just in summary, conflict, competition, expansion of abandonment issues in 3D and 5D messages, announcements to find peace in the Divine Feminine's heart and home. Exposure to steps, or steps to take, or stairway to heaven. The King of Cups expressing feelings about the Queen of Cups and their knowing, and the Hermit with the light. The Divine Feminine, her heart is expanding in her knowing. Loneliness and abandonment issues are exposed. To, or about the Queen of Cups and their connection to the Emperor and the Empress. And steps to take. The Knight of Swords messenger, King of Cups, finding peace in expressing, and coming up as not knowing about the Hermit having shed light on the situation. And like I said, the four couples and then the Emperor Empress came up. All reversed except for the Queen of Swords and the Empress, who were upright. And I'm going to pull some oracle cards. And it was 111 when I said Divine Feminine Heart Expansion in Knowing, about the loneliness and abandonment issues, exposing the connection between the Queen of Cups and the Emperor and the Empress. You know, it's definitely coming up as the third party situation. Okay. So then we have the Ascension cards. Take a deep breath. Clear the line. Clear the line. Clear the line. Definitely some stressful energy today, but it's a beautiful sunny day here, so there's definitely some good energies here. Mary Magdalene came up again in the read today, so I'm going to ask Mary Magdalene. So for this February 19, 2019, for everyone watching and the best and highest good for all those concerned, to Mary Magdalene, please. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? A bunch. Okay, the moon is number 11. How appropriate today for the full moon. And 11 is justice, right, which definitely came up as well. The affirmations, I listen to my divine feminine wisdom. Okay, so the moon coming up about the moon today. And a bunch of cards were coming out. I'm not going to read all of them, but I will show them all to you. What do we have here? Alright, there's 7 cards altogether. 7 was definitely a theme today, with 77 coming up in the beginning of the read. So let's see how far we get. Pleiades came up first. That's number 16, the Tower, right? And I told you the Tower came up 4 times in the read yesterday. So it's definitely this energy of this full moon. And 16 is a 7. Lord Kamika comes up, which is number 42. That's the 2 of Cups. Lady Portia, number 32, which is the 6 of Wands. Standing up for yourself. I mean, this is not standing up for yourself. This is the 6 of Wands of the success and attention, you know, the journey guy. And then Saint Germain came up with Lady Portia, which is very appropriate since they're together. Number 34, which is the 8 of Wands, which is that the arrows of love, or a heated exchange. The other 3 cards that came up kind of as an after. Let's see why they came up. Orion came up as 18. 18 is the moon, so again, that's maybe came up just for that. It may have just come up for the number 7 to bring up 7 cards. Sphinx came up for number 20, which is Judgment, and Serapis Bey is 41, which is the Ace of Cups. It amazes me how they get these messages to me. I wasn't even thinking I was going to get anything from the second 3 cards that I brought out to you. It's 18, 20, and 41. So I was just looking up the single digits, and it's 925, 30 pieces of silver, the betrayal. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. So I'm going to read you the other cards. Coming up though, like with the numbers, it's the moon energies with Judgment, and then the Ace of Cups. It's like betrayal for love, for new love. The Pleiades says, number 16, that they are great healers. They love Earth and all who live on her. By drawing this card, you're being invited to open your heart to Pleiadian healing. Let them enfold you in their loving, healing blue light so that their wisdom and gifts flow into you. When you have absorbed these qualities into your energy fields, pass them on to others. Remember that the animals who come from the Pleiades, the sheep, the pandas, and the pigs, heal people and the land, bless them, and honor their work for our planet. The affirmation is, I open my heart to love and healing from the Pleiades. Lord Kumika is number 42, the Two of Cups. 7, 6. The other 4 cards are 7, 6, 5, 7. I was just looking to see because that sequence is what brought up the other message. 7, 6. 76 trombones comes up, but also 76 is the 8 of Pentacles. I mean, yeah, the 8 of Pentacles, right? It's that working hard energy. And then 57 is the 3 of Swords. That's the betrayal, the broken heart. At work. At work, there's a breakup in a work situation, maybe a partnership between 3 people. That's what I'm getting with the 76 and the 57. Alright, so Lord Kumika, 42. Kumika came from another universe to set the conditions for the golden age of Atlantis with Archangel Metatron. He has returned to be Koan of the 8th ray, a soul ray of purification, enlightenment, and communication. When you receive this card, you are on a quest for enlightenment, and communication and quest both came up in this read today. Your guidance is to breathe Kumika's blue topaz light into your aura. Expand your attitude to one of unconditional love, acceptance for others, and personal responsibility. Kumika will open new doors for you and guide your footsteps towards enlightenment and ascension. And the affirmation is, I call on Lord Kumika to enlighten and support me. Okay, so you're being called on the light, the blue topaz. You might want to go outside and look at the sky today. But it's the 8th ray, which came up from Mary Magdalene at the beginning of the read. The 8, and the golden light, the gold. Okay. I guess I'm going to read both of them since Lady Portia and Saint Germain came up. And you know Saint Germain's all about the violet flame. So Lady Portia is 32 and is known as the goddess of justice, the Lord of Karma. She tempers justice with mercy and balance. In order to act with these golden qualities, you must let go of your own projections and prejudices and see the whole picture. When you receive this card, Lady Portia is calling on you to review an aspect of your life or relationships to bring it fully into the 5th dimension. Be generous-hearted, open-minded, and fair, and step aside from judgment, and then your ascension path will be showered with gold. The affirmation is, I am fair-minded, open-hearted, and non-judgmental. And then Saint Germain, as number 34, is Lord of Civilization, cooperates with Archangel Zadkiel to transmute the lower energies of the world in the violet flame. He is a great alchemist and magician who transforms that which no longer serves into something beautiful and light. Your guidance is to invoke Saint Germain, surround yourself in his violet light, and see the divine perfection in whatever or whoever you wish to transform. Your pure intention and focus can co-create with his energy to make miracles happen. Use this to help yourself and others to ascend. Okay, so a lot about justice and the violet flame today, which is obvious in feeling this energy. So believe in miracles and stay open-hearted, open-minded, fair-minded, and non-judgmental as much as you can. You know, just stay in your more positive energies as much as you can. You're not going to be totally non-judgmental because we're human. And, you know, you might want to bring up some of the things I brought up in the read, my personal stuff, and I didn't bring it up to judge. It's bringing it up to make someone understand the point of the other stuff in the read, but also my point of view, right? I purged last night, and it's something I needed to get out, so I get it out. Okay? And I love my twin, no matter what he does. It is what it is. Alright, so now we have the past life deck, okay? Past life deck. Take another deep breath, guys. Okay. So again for Mary Magdalene, let's see what we have. For this February 19, 2019. February 19, 2019. For everyone watching, the best and highest good of all is concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Mary Magdalene. What is your advice? The bottom is monk or nun reversed. Okay, and I didn't purposely make any of these upright or reversed. They just ended up, I guess I shuffled them the wrong way or something and they got reversed, but this is what's coming up, so that's what I'm going to use. Monk or nun is reversed, and so is Atlantis beneath it. So you need to, someone needs to cut cords of vows of silence, chastity, all those kind of things. And just also, you know, it's also bringing up, you know, open up your chakras and your closed circuit, but it's also in this card saying not to keep your circuit closed, all right, to open. The connection, the hanging end. You know, when you break a connection, then there becomes a connect. That's interesting. I just thought of something. So the cards that came up for you guys, communal living, spouse, and biblical reversed. I'll show you how they came up. Biblical, you know, he comes up all the time. That's like the Jesus Carpenter card. Communal living and spouse. So it's saying stop working so hard. Stop working so hard, get married, and live in an alternative community. That's somebody's message for sure. This may be, you know, a wound that you need to clear too from the past, that you're expected to get married and live in a community and live by the community rules and work really hard. So it's really letting go of all of the old, of what's expected. Of course you can do those things, those are beautiful things, if it's your heart to do that, but not because society is telling you to do it. You don't have to live it communally. You can live on your own if you want, and if you want to live communally, you can. It's whatever your personality is, your heart, right? That's what you'll come into because you're being authentic. But it's saying let go of the old ways, but don't let go of the beauty. And stop working so hard. Even if you're loving your work and you're doing the right work and your mission, make sure you take breaks. And I have to tell that to myself too, because sometimes I get wrapped, when I'm doing this, I can go for hours sometimes and I don't even know that hours have passed. I actually missed my workout last night because I was busy doing something. Yeah, it is beautiful, someone, and it definitely is a wedding for somebody. But let go of the old. Like, it's showing that the spouse in this picture, the husband and spouse, are standing out separately from the old. Like, this is new energy, and these two are both old energies, okay? So let go of that stuff, the old. And then we have Journey of Love. In my book. All right, I'll take another deep breath. Oh, and I forgot, I have to show you my stone. I have some stones up here for you guys. But this is the one my daughter found. I've shown it to you before, but today I think it was appropriate to bring it out today. Oh, you can't read it on there. You are not alone. That's your stone for the day. And then I have my Mary Magdalene stone here too from France. It's really Mother Mary, but it looks like Mother. All right. Take a deep breath. Very long. Very long. Very long. All right. So again, Mary Magdalene. For this February 19, 2019, for everybody watching and the best and highest good of all is concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Mary Magdalene. Jesus, you can come into it. Alright, we have the bottom. The bride offers herself again, which I believe is what came up for Mary Magdalene yesterday. Okay, as the underlying energy. Number 43. 43 is the Three of Cups. And again, the first card that came out yesterday was Shakti, Sun, which is perfect for today. It's the 19th and the Sun is out. So, beautiful energy. Maybe I won't read that again since I read it yesterday. And if you want to hear it, you can listen to from yesterday. The second card that came out is Heart of the Moment, which came out recently, but not yesterday. And then the third card came out, dun, 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 Heaven. Okay, and Stairway to Heaven came up in the read today. The numbers are 19 for Shakti, the Sun, 16 the Tower of the Moment, Heart of the Moment, and then Heaven is 70, which is the Two of Pentacles, the dance of the twins. All is exposed in the Heart of the Moment, in the Tower moment, as the twins dance. And in this Heaven card, it's really pretty. There's couples all over the place in the light, coming toward the light. And you notice all the circles or chakra energies, which were coming up in the read today as well. Let's see if there's anything else here before I read to you. I'm not going to read Shakti, like I said, but I'll read the other two for you. There's definitely been conception here. It's either the conception of a relationship, a new business, definitely baby conceptions here. We got a boob and a womb here. So there's definitely some baby energy there, as well as just the heart. And I'm getting, when the Grinch's heart grew 3 times that day, I'm getting that. Oh, it's literal. Look at this. In Heart of the Moment, there's that heart in the middle, and then there's like 3 people on each side. The heart grew 3 times that day. And then it was heaven. When everything is exposed, because you're in your truth no matter what, and the tower hits, the heart of the moment, then you can have heaven. Because you're free. And you notice heaven has that topaz blue that was called on for today, as well as the violet flame. And the gold light came up as well. So violet gold and topaz blue for today. Pretty combination. And there's a lot of red here. A lot of red. Root, orange and yellow. And then the topaz of the throat chakra. It's very much about the throat. A little bit of contrast. Speak your truth and get to the root of the issue. And find your confidence again. Alright, so I'm going to read 16 and 70 for Heart of the Moment and Heaven. 16 is Heart of the Moment. You're entering a time in your life where past and future are colliding. What's the song, Collide? We collide. Alright. In this present moment, you have a powerful opportunity to decide how you wish to continue in a certain pattern of relating or not. This may mean leaving a relationship or starting a new one. But even if you cannot yet make that decision with peace in your heart, you can still partake of the heart of this moment and decide how you shall choose to be. Will you speak? Will you choose to let go of shame and criticism, of judgment and anxiety, of loss and despair, or just be with your own heart now? Will you choose in this moment to trust yourself, even if that trust says you have to wait a while longer before you can make a more long-term decision? This is a time when you can alter your future, stepping into relationship with another, with the divine, with yourself in a new way. Even the smallest choice for love is a step in the best direction. You have the heart of the divine within you. It is not too hard for you to choose love. Let go of the people who want you to choose jealousy or fear or doubt. Their games are not nearly as fun. Choose love, and who knows, maybe they'll join your party instead. This oracle brings you a message. You're in transition zone in your life and relationships. It's one moment that will manifest as many opportunities, where one choice will open up many pathways to fulfillment for you. We always have the chance to create our future with our present choices, but at this time, you're in an especially fertile karmic period, having just come out of a cycle of learning and about to enter into a new one. This is the time to be willing to take a chance or a risk to be happy within yourself, no matter what is going on around you. Your life is about to take a karmic turn, and you can feel peace in that knowing. And the poem reads, love provides the opportunity to express the core essence of our very nature. It touches us at a level of feeling beyond a human norm that renders our beings incapable of a feeling with greater depth or wonder. Love is the fabric of life. It is the substance that holds it all together in spirits connecting, and the magic that opens the unknown. It is the quality that speaks to our soul, that opens our heart, that excites our spirit and allows us in its presence to become something greater than ourselves, something more than we are alone. And then we have heaven, which is the end of the book. And heaven says, you are meant to live heaven, not later, sometime after you die. What use is this life and body if not to live heaven now? Look for the mad divine genius in all that is, especially the puzzling parts of your life that make you scratch your head, or tear at your hair, or scrunch up your face and scream with frustration. Those are the places in which the divine is saying, here, heaven is hiding, let's unveil it together. Let me show you, let me unveil your own mad divine genius right here. Look for heaven, even in hiding. It will not withhold itself from you for long, beloved. It wants to be known by you. This oracle brings you a message, a special message. The enlightener is calling you to more, to more, to more. More divinity, more love, more acceptance, more embrace of life itself. There's no limit in what is being offered to you from the divine lover calling to you, the beloved. Rejoice and know that the dance of love between you and the divine is a removing of the veils of illusion, one at a time, until you behold each other, naked and true, finally to discover you are each other, you are love. And the poem reads in Spirits Connecting, the sky ablaze with morning light, on silver wings, silver came up here, on silver wings of bird in flight, in gratitude a tear released, and knowingness embraced at peace. She speaks to those that gaze below, ancestral wings which call my soul to open hearts and soar above. In awe the winds await this love. Okay, really beautiful. And then the end of the book has this picture right next to it, which is one of the other cards, but I just thought I'd show it to you. All right, I have to show you the read. Did I take a picture of it? I think I did. Nope. Well, let's keep it simple. Here is the basic read for today. Right, is that today? Yep, that's today. Give me 1 second and I'll give you the other part.